Right, we're live.
We're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul.
I
And
love you do that.
it's weird. Like I say, we've had a few weeks off, and
We're back.
it's kind of like a north and south divide today. So it's not been by design. It's just how things kind
It's
of
just
work
how
out.
it
Like
happens.
happy coincidence. So we are joined by the lovely Phoebe, looking radiant with, like I say, with a red lipstick, showing off for Chris for some reason. And we are joined by an extra special guest. We are joined by the lovely Holly. Holly, as I pre-warned you before we were going to go live, so give us a little bit about yourself. Let us know about your nerdy credentials. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Oh, wow. Nerdy credentials. I, apart from being a massive Jaws fan, which really helps, I find, for this episode, somewhat. Gosh, there's so much. I am a diehard Buffy fan. I am a diehard horror fan. Anything like that, any film, any good B movie film, horror film, I love. Halloween 3, Season of a Witch, love it. Sleepaway Camp, love it.
Sleepaway Camp's my favourite.
Yeah, I have loved film since I was a kid, and I'm just a massive nerd for Buffy and Jaws. I would say is my biggest thing. I've got all of the Buffy DVDs still, and Angel as well.
Good choice.
Oh, you could have replaced me when we did the Buffy episode because I had nothing to say on there.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation. We talked for a lot, and Sammy just went, yeah.
Now, smile and nod.
Now, one of the reasons we got Holly on this episode was for her Instagram handle, and again, just to give it away a little bit, Bigger Boat Haul, which again just screams everything to do with this episode that we're going to be doing today. And again, it's a little bit of a thank you because she's helped the nerds out a little bit as well. So, and as with everyone knows, we like to give back. And I know Becca's in the chat getting all excited because the women of the nerd culture actually did an episode just last weekend on Buffy Summers. So if you are feeling brave and wanting to check out and see what Sarah and Becca had to say about Buffy, probably is a lot better than what we said a few years ago. Because I think your sister was on that one, wasn't she?
Potentially, yeah. Because that was it. Because the Buffy is my sister's thing, not mine. So I was like, why don't you just come on and you talk for me? You just be me. Come on, you do it.
But yes.
But hi, it's Sunday. We're back. The nerds are in the chat. Should I do the disclaimer and then we can get on into celebrating 50 years of Jaws? Woo!
Yes.
Where's everyone's enthusiasm?
We'll be giving it a bit more infused about than that. But yes.
Thanks, Phoebe. Thank you, Phoebe. Okay. I appreciate the dance. I appreciate it.
Yes. So give us the disclaimer there, little one.
So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us. You can join us on the Facebook page. You can come and join the Nerdy Up North Discord or comment section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Oh, bless her. That's been on the BBC as well, guys. I don't know if that's an endorsement.
That's been a long time since we've mentioned that. That has. It's been heard on the BBC.
But yes.
Yes.
So yes.
Jaws.
This is one of our lost episodes, shall we say, because we did a Jaws episode and so we had to remove it, and well, it's in the archive, so it's here. So it's
I'm hoping it's deleted, but yeah.
So it's nice to kind of to come back and talk about such. I think the word gets thrown around very often, and it's almost a disservice. But this is a masterpiece in cinema.
Oh, 100%. The only one thing I am sad about that episode is no longer available to watch is the realization from me that this is a book. Because I did not know.
Yeah.
Even though it says based on the story by and the book based on, did not know. So yes, shocked about that.
Have you ever actually, since you learnt that in the last episode, have you gone and read the book?
No.
I'm going to let you make your mind up on that one. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a no.
But yes.
It takes me a long time to read, Phoebe.
Yeah, you're still going through Stephen King's back catalogue.
Exactly. I've got to be there a long time.
But yes. So
that's fair. I shouldn't have put you on the spot, Sammy. That's on me.
So with the two lovely guests on, I'll not throw Holly under the bus just yet. So Phoebe, as you're taking a mouthful of drink,
yeah.
What was your first experience of Jaws? Can you remember?
I can.
Okay.
And it was with I've got a stepbrother called Jack, and I think we watched this together. Probably a little bit too young, in that kind of unsupervised Sunday viewing kind of like just go in the living room and be quiet kind of vibe. Yeah. And I can remember him getting really scared and hiding behind the sofa, and then for like weeks after, just like just occasionally just going da da da, and him being like.
That become your thing from then on.
Yeah, that was a little bit thing. I don't know if he remembers it. He might have like blacked it out of his mind now from trauma.
Trauma.
A little bit too little. Yeah, and I couldn't. So that was probably the first and last time I watched Jaws. It's like decades ago.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
So this has been you.
Yeah, this is a proper
crazy.
revisit. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And obviously, I agree. It was a complete masterpiece. Coming back to it, I was like, I'm so glad to have the excuse.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here then, because it'll be nice to have like a different, like someone who watched it a long time ago to then watch like like a rewatch years and years and years later. Oh, that's crazy. Love that.
Because I obviously, when you're a kid, you remember the big scary moments, the bits that like
yeah,
make you jump and stuff. And
but as
so
an
I remember
adult,
like the shark eating the boat and stuff like that, but I didn't remember any of the basically the first half of the film. Complete blank.
It's interesting that
I think I remember them finding the woman on the beach and being like, oh,
nice, tasty.
Yeah,
but it's interesting.
Fun.
Yeah, it's interesting you're saying like the first half of the film, because again, when you split Jaws down, it feels like two different types of movies. Like it fits perfectly, but it's like almost like a horror movie at the start and then an adventure movie towards the end. It's like when they're going out to sea to try and hunt the shark, and I know Spielberg himself doesn't reference this as a horror movie. He sees it himself as an adventure movie, which is quite an interesting take, because I think it's one of the most scary fucking films I've ever seen. Not gonna lie.
I always would track it as actually like a hero's adventure. So like the classic fantasy structure, where you have the call to action, the old mentor, the rejection of fate. Like it has all of that, and it goes through that kind of very epic, heroic journey.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's definitely Brody's like heroes. He's the hero. It's the hero's journey.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Holly? Can you remember your first like delving into the world of Jaws?
Yeah, I was in the Lake District with my mum, and we were watching it.
Being near water as well.
Yeah, I think it was just on. We were in like a B&B, and it was just on TV, I think, and I was about 7 or 8. And I don't remember. I remember Quint being eaten. Spoiler alert, in case anyone wants it.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it in the last 50 years, a spoiler for you.
You should listen to this podcast. And I remember the banging on the boat after the song, and I remember it terrifying me to the point where my mum always teases me about this, because I went to brush my teeth afterwards, and the water went down the sink, and it made like some sort of like weird gurgling noise, and I basically shat myself and thought that there was a shark in the sink.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's my first, and then I guess I've probably watched it a good, I don't know, a couple of times a year, if not more, every year since. So it kind of affected me that much.
It's interesting, because there's certain movies that are like it's like what I class as comfort movies, and it's weird putting Jaws in that bracket, because you have cycles where you're watching movies, or if you want to watch something that you've seen so many times, and again, it draws you in. But Jaws is always in like one of my cycles where I'll probably watch it 2 or 3 times a year, depending on, like, say, the time of year, depending on the mood as well. Again, it's one of those comfort blanket movies. Again, me and Sammy guested on a podcast the other week, and we talked about another one, The Lost Boys, which still like feels like a similar type of vibe to this, even though it's a completely different movie, but it still kind of feels easy to watch, if that makes sense.
I'll have a lot nicer things to say about this one than that one.
You
didn't realise how much I didn't like The Lost Boys until I started talking about it.
Which was a shock, but yeah. Coming from a resident
surprised
goth
you and Paul are still talking then.
I know, it's a shock.
It was
after the stuff I said.
It was hilarious. So, but it's interesting saying you were scared of the thing, because I think I told on a previous podcast, I was scared to go in the bath after watching this movie as a child. And I think,
completely.
Yeah.
Bath, the swimming pool, anything.
The actual sea.
Yeah. Because
so we were talking on Anime Club about phobias, and I said that the noise that the sink makes, and Chris looked at me like I had lost my mind. But there is a kind of like that kind of slurpy, horrible gurgling sound. Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, I know exactly what she's scared of, and I think that's perfectly rational.
but the unrational thing is thinking a shark would have come out with the sink. But
that's a leap, but.
And again, just jumping on your point that you made before, Phoebes, watching this film when you were probably too young, I think this is one of those movies where it is terrifying and there's some horrific parts, but it feels like a family movie. I'm not saying
I will agree to that.
Yeah.
I will agree, because my first experience was with my family, and I can tell you exactly when it was. It was this time. How old am I now?
41.
Yeah, 41. So I just hang on. Maths is not my strong suit. 25 years ago, when I was 16 years old, and we'd been on a family trip to Florida. I think it was our second one that we had. And the first one, I was a moody teenager, so I couldn't give shit about anything. But the second one, I wasn't so much. And we'd done the Jaws ride. And that ride had like such an impact on us, to where my mum was like, right, when we get home, first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch Jaws, because I'd never seen it. Yeah. My sister went to bed because she's a chicken, and she's never seen it since. She's never actually seen Jaws. And me, my mum and dad sat down and watched Jaws for the first time. And it was because it is my birthday song. And I just turned 16. So it was this time 25 years ago. How fitting.
And when we had the idea of doing like a celebration of 50 years, this is where I fucked up, because I thought the 50-year anniversary was August. I had convinced myself that Jaws was turning 50 in August. No, it was 3 weeks ago. So I was 3 weeks off of getting this wrong. Well,
that's fine. It's only 3 weeks. Bruce ain't gonna mind. There's still people out there today who are celebrating this all year round.
Yeah.
Also,
they really it's the 4th of July, like Friday.
Yeah.
It's the 4th of July weekend. So
we're not that far off. It's fine. It's good.
But saying that though, 50 years of this movie, and we haven't. I know we haven't got the taglines yet, and I know you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I know you're itching. But 50 years. This, and I know we've probably all watched this movie like over the last few days. This didn't feel like a 50-year-old. Like, yes, the hairstyles and the clothing and stuff were.
Yeah, there are a lot of swimsuits.
The costumes place it where it exactly is meant to be. However, you can get movies made in 2025 that looks like it's just come out of the 80s. So who's to say? I get what you mean. The filmmaking style of it doesn't look like it was done 50 years ago. It looks like it was done yesterday. That's how good this movie is.
And a lot of movies that were. Sorry, I was just going to say.
Sorry, I was.
Go Phoebes.
Oh my god, how polite he used to.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
We spend forever just holding doors open for each other when we meet in person.
We just say sorry all the time as Northerners.
And I got told off by Sammy when I went to London for people walking into me for me apologising. Stop! You don't apologise to them people. Let's go. Okay.
Right in front of the woman who
it's
just
a sign
shouldered
of weakness
him.
in the south.
But yeah.
What are you saying?
I was just going to say, I think part of what makes it a masterpiece is it does feel. So one of the things that I was thinking as I was rewatching it is that you can see all of the other films that have tried to do suspense the way that Steven Spielberg invents suspense in this film. Like, I think he holds the tension so beautifully throughout, and so many times he like lets you down a little bit only to like then come in with it's just the way he holds those levels throughout the film, constantly getting you to second guess, like, is that the shark attack? Is that the shark attack? It's so beautifully done.
It's
and
just
I think
masterful storytelling as well, though, isn't
so
it?
modern is because it's just the execution of it is perfect.
Crisp.
And
It's
lots
so
of people
crisp.
have tried to do that. Very few people do it as well as it. Even Steven Spielberg, I think, struggles to do it as well as he has done in Jaws.
Yeah.
In later films.
So
I think for a sorry.
no, that's what.
No, honey, go on.
You're the guest. You get precedent over me, so don't worry.
I just think as a film that was going so epically wrong in so many ways at the time as well, to think on his feet the way he did and to create such a lesson in filmmaking. Like when you watch the Alex Kittner scene, when he dies, that whole scene, I mean, obviously his influence from Hitchcock is so like prevalent, but like just the way that he says himself that he wasn't thinking about the film, he was thinking about shots, and he's thinking about like showing the audience you know, these things. And I just think it's an absolute like flawless lesson in filmmaking. And I think, you know, so yeah, like you said, so much stuff that comes after it, and so much influence like from that afterwards, but his own influence of like Hitchcock, but it's just, to me, it's just, yeah, it's flawless.
Yeah, I can see the Hitchcock theme for it. As a huge Hitchcock fan, I can see that suspensefulness running all the way through it. He did definitely take a masterclass in the Hitchcock's suspense field, but he manages to do it where Phoebe's right. He leaves you there so long. You're like, because Hitchcock was very quick at going, because he was so excited about the fact that he was going to have this huge reveal. It was going to happen quicker than the only time I've ever seen it taking time with it is the shower scene in Psycho.
Yeah.
But other than that, he was very quick to be going, right, okay, this is it, you got it. Whereas with Spielberg, it lingers so long that you kind of like, your breath is so up here, you feel like you're just about to go, and then you lose it. You completely lose it.
And something that he does that Hitchcock doesn't is he uses humor to like deflate you a little bit. So you have these moments of like the tension building and building, and then something kind of just a little bit funny happens, and you take an outward breath, and then that's when he gets you, when your breath has like left your body.
It's amazing. It's amazing
so,
the physical,
so good.
how physical you can get by watching this movie as well.
100%. Before I start unloading, because again I'm dying to say stuff, but if I start, we're not going to get the taglines until about an hour
I want to
later.
get the taglines.
So Sammy, get them out of the way, because Holly's just got me wanting to say a million things at once there, and I'm just like, no, I can't.
I actually have a couple of questions as well about the making of it that I just need cleared up in my head, but let's do the taglines because I'm so excited. You ready? Amity Island had everything: clear skies, gentle surf, warm water. People flocked there every summer. It was the perfect feeding ground. Oh, there's more. The nation's #1 bestseller novel is now this year's most terrifying movie. If I was doing the taglines when we did the original one, I wouldn't have been as shocked. Exactly, and that would have been the moment. What? On the 4th of July, fishing season will be open on you.
Dear me.
I love a cheesy. That first one is almost like a novel, let alone
isn't it?
Really long.
Like,
well, can you imagine like that in a world?
In a world. There's another one which is a bit lengthy. If you forget what terror was like, it's back.
I took it.
See what you missed the first time after you closed your eyes. Now this is the length one. There is a creature alive today which has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour everything. Or anything, actually, the word was anything. Try to imagine meeting the devil with jaws.
They don't write them like they used to.
No, they don't.
They
This
don't.
is why I love doing taglines, because they just really don't. These are probably my favourites, actually. There is a great white man eating shark hanging around these parts.
Like a cowboy movie,
isn't it?
Yeah.
A terrifying motion picture.
Kurt Russell coming in his little.
All I can hear is do do do. You know the music.
Yep.
The terrifying motion picture from the terrifying #1 bestseller.
Right.
When the beaches open this summer, you will be taken. Is Liam Neeson here?
It's all getting it's almost like a bit sexual threaty.
Isn't it? Just wait for this one then. She was first. Who will be next?
Oh dear.
I've only got a couple more. Do you like fish?
is that it?
Very personal question, Sammy.
Sorry, I just read the last line. Do you like fish? Well, he likes you too.
Wow.
Jaws just wanted a friend. He was misunderstood.
Oh God. If you want to survive fishing season, don't go in the water. I've got two more. I'll get through them before I lose my shit. See it before you go swimming. There, you should have read that one before you guys,
Yeah.
You'll never go in the water again.
That one's always the one that's came about. Like, you can imagine the voiceover Maya and the thing going, "You'll never go in the water again."
In a world. Yeah, they're the type. They're probably
with sharks
who don't like people. No. Yeah, they are, out of all the taglines I have done for any movie that we have covered, they are probably, actually the Batman and Robin one comes just a little bit close. They are probably my favourite.
They don't, as Holly said, they don't make them like they used to. But
no, you don't. They don't at all.
Because I was bursting as soon as Holly mentioned about like everything about this movie, how it shouldn't have been made in effect.
Yeah.
Basically,
can I ask one question before you do that?
Of course.
Just one, and it probably might lead into where you're going. Was Martha Vineyard happy with them shooting there? Are they still really pissed off that that film was shot there?
They made a lot of money. They made a
fuck all in it. All the residents, basically, a lot of the residents are in it.
Yeah.
So there's only like eight people in it are actors, and the rest of it are residents from Martha's Vineyard or from Boston.
So
I just heard that they weren't happy.
Oh no! Basically, they were over the moon. Like the problems with the shoot. This movie was meant to be shot in 45 or 55 days. And it was shot over 160. It took, that's the extent. Universal lost their shit because they were very don't go past like shooting days.
Like doubling your budget.
That's how they tripled the budget. The budget was 4 million and it went to 12 or 14 by the end. This is where the chaos reigned because the original film, as Spielberg himself said, they originally set out to make almost like a Godzilla style film. Like where the shark was prevalent in all the different scenes, and good old Bruce not working changed his focus, and as Holly said, he decided he was going to make a Hitchcock film, where that's where a lot of the shots and a lot of because what people don't realize, when they were writing the script to Jaws, they didn't have a finished script. They were writing scripts on the night before for the next day. Literally, it was that chaotic. Spielberg was getting threats on a daily basis through to the producers, wasn't giving him it, that he was going to get fired. He's come out, like, I've done a lot of research because I fucking love this movie and I wanted to find out as much as I could. Spielberg shit himself because an actress from Hollywood came to visit him because they were having parties and stuff and said, "The rumor in Hollywood is you're done. After this, nobody is going to be working with you. The studio is basically blacklisting you because of what you're doing for this movie." And he just left the party, went home, and just went, "What am I going to do?" And the writer in it, I can't remember the writer's name because he was meant to play a part. He was playing the guy who worked for the newspaper. That's the one. Yes, he said, when Spielberg started this movie, he was a boy. By the time he finished, he became the man he was because he stood up for himself and went, right, this is how it needs to be done. Like halfway through the movie, the studio wanted him to pack up and film it all in blue screen.
Shit!
And he refused.
That would have been a very different film.
Yeah, he was like,
"Oh, we would not be talking about this today."
No, he was like, the effects to do, and there was only 2 scenes the shark actually worked on.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because I watched I didn't actually watch the film because it wasn't that long ago I'd watched it, and honestly this is just etched in my brain. So I watched Dead Meat's kill count on it because James always does a run of the film basically, and it was talking about the malfunction of Bruce, and it showed you a clip of Bruce working for a second and then like it looks so real. Like it's so weird because he's like all of a sudden he's in the motion and then he just goes.
But it wasn't just Bruce that was the problem, because they were actually filming in the sea. What they had to do is filming it in intervals, because they were supposed to be in the ocean by themselves and a sailboat would scum past. So they and they didn't have the technology back then to digitally remove them. So
scrub them out.
So basically they were saying, this boat's gone, film for 5 minutes, another boat come, film for 5 minutes. So each shot you were taking, that's why it was taking days and days and days. But yeah, I just needed to get that out of my head when Holly said about the problems.
Now do you know how it feels? Now do you know how it feels when you've got that thing just sitting there and you're like, I've got to see it.
But yeah. So regarding the movie, regarding the movie as well, because I know there's a lot of famous scenes, there's a lot of like things that changed the game with this movie as well. But can we spend a few moments with the opening? Because I think with any type of movie, you live and die with the opening, especially this one. Like, this one absolutely terrified me. And again, I was watching as a kid, didn't quite understand. I just thought, these two people are going for a swim in the water. They'll have a bit of fun, like splishing around, not knowing like.
Had you seen Friday the 13th yet?
Not like that. No. But the introduction to the sound, the noise, and just the sheer violence of that scene is just blows my away. And again, I don't know if it had the same effect on you guys when you saw it for the first time. It is one of the most there's a lot of scary moments in this movie, sorry, but that is one of the scariest things I had seen to that point.
I think.
Go for it, Holly.
I was just going to say, I just think it is so terrifying. For me, her being pulled, like Chrissy Watkins just being like pulled from side to side, that the brutality of it, and like not seeing anything, so you just don't, you don't know what's coming, and to open with that as well is just like, fuck. Like, I don't know, like it's and then when the water goes calm and the the floating like bell, and that's all you hear is just like, okay, this is where we're at.
The thing is, you have that magnificent opening, and it does kind of like you sit and going, what? But then all of a sudden it's so calm and it's daylight and it's sunny and everything's so happy, and you're like, what the shit? What?
I think there's restraint in that as well. The restraint and like you could have overdone that or overkilled a lot of the thing, but it's kind of, as Holly said, it's the brutality at the point, but then it's just the stillness and calmness that terrifies you even more. Like, how will you find?
Because I think that's one of the things, because I was thinking of exactly that same moment where she's being dragged through the water, but you don't really see anything other than like from here up. There's no like overt violence, and I think this is one of the reasons you probably can watch it like as a family film, because there's not a lot of like blood or gore in it. And yet it does that. Like, my favorite thing of any film is it withholds the monster from you. And part of that's probably because the shark wasn't working, so they like physically didn't have a choice but to withhold the monster. But I actually think it really works in favor, because that's where you're like, you as an audience, your imagination goes wild with what's happening, and I think that is a much more effective storytelling.
It's just how calm it goes after the attack, how still the water goes.
And that's what I mean about like the levels of tension and like the deflating afterwards. You're like,
oh,
and then
shit.
for the next minute you're like like we're just gonna leave.
We're just gonna forget about this. Like what happened?
No one's gonna notice that she's gone. What's going on?
Because isn't the dude like just sitting there lying there?
He's passed out.
Switching to just a small town beach cop. That's where we're going next, to small town sheriff.
And everything's but everything changes. Like obviously you go into daylight. You've got the noises of the place. You've got him. You've got the music completely changes. It's just you've been put from one place to another, and you're like, your brain's going, where the shit am I? Like, what is going on here?
He's like, am I supposed to having a good time? Or
the sound, the thing that I get throughout the film, like the sound in this film is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, John Williams has done.
The musical score's great. What I also think is really effective is how much the sound of children playing on a beach sounds like someone being attacked by a shark, and it's used so effectively to confuse your brain.
Yes.
In like moments of ambiguity as well. So you have like kind of like a shriek of delight, and it takes you a second to realize that it's kids playing and not someone.
It's like that when obviously Brody's aware the whole, and he's watching, you know, you've got that scene where he's like, and he's like, you've got people coming in his face, and he's like trying to leer over, and you're right, the sound of like kids, it has a moving from here, there, here, left, and everywhere. But my favorite shot of the whole thing is that slow motion shot on him, like onto him. I love that. That is used in such the best way, because your heart sinks in that moment.
I think that's where Spielberg is masterful in this. He doesn't overplay a lot of the shots. He keeps things at a distance, or when he does like a clever shot like the zoom in, it's like a one-off. He won't repeat it. So you like, not to slag it off, but like when you got like J.J. Abrams, he does the lens flares on literally everything you can see. This is kind of like
how else are you supposed to know you're in the future, Paul?
Lens flare it up.
It
tells me I'm in the 25th century.
Or if you do like the Sam Raimi like camera following through, like which he doesn't, like his signature. There's a lot of different aspects. Spielberg doesn't kind of overplay it. But just to touch on what you said as well, I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit as well with this.
Christ, take a seat, everyone.
Because
he's taken a couple of weeks off and he's come back with a soapbox.
But it's one of the things that I do harp on, and like I've said it numerous times on the podcast a lot. It's always scarier, or when the director or when the movie lets you make your thoughts or use your imagination. It's what you don't see is more scary than what you do see, and a lot of modern horror movies don't always kind of get that. They think, oh, we'll show this gory death or this monster thing, which again sometimes can have its place. But if you look at, like as I said, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or even Halloween and stuff, it's the things that you don't see. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I've said numerous times, it's very little blood, there's very little thing, it's more noise, screaming. It's like grabbing someone, pulling the door, and you
through the door,
you kind of imagine what's happening behind
or
there.
Hearing someone get put onto a hook, or hearing someone with a hammer.
And when Jaws does it, because with the technique the camera guy actually made himself, because he made the box, where it's just basically the level of the water is like, oh, we're going to show like a certain level, where it's basically what's under that murky water. You never see where your feet is. You never see what's there. It's like, what could you be standing on? What could be nibbling on your toes and stuff? It's like, I bet you I'm saying this now, and each one of us is curling our toes a little bit under our
I
desk.
actually have my foot curled round, because I am in a constant state of I can't do the sea at all.
As someone who lives by the sea, swimming in the sea is. I'll do it a little bit, but then about 5 minutes in, I'm like, what is under? If I can't see under my feet.
There's also a lot of seaweed down this neck of the woods, and the water is not very clear, so you genuinely can't see. And you're like, was that a shark? Was that just?
You feel something bumping against your toe. It's like, oh, what could it be? But yeah, it's like that fear of the unknown that is always going to be scary. And like, again, if this movie showed the shark all the way through and stuff, that the unknown aspect, when we actually see the shark for the first time, like when it's like, I know because you get a little bit of a glimpse during the killing of the little boy. I can't remember the boy's name now. Like when Ollie's gonna guess. Alec, that's it, the Kittner boy.
Alex.
I know when they filmed that scene, they had to take so many different shots because the problem, and that sounds weird, the problem is the kid couldn't stay underwater long enough, so he's like he kept on popping up, and that's where it was starting getting a bit
So
more brutal.
unprofessional.
Like, why can't you just
Should have
drown?
sucked him.
But
Should have sucked him.
that was the first.
Drown for your art, child.
That was the first little.
I do not condone drowning children.
No, he was going to do it by his own hand, like, you know.
But that was the first little glimpse of of Bruce that we see. Then that was like in the distance, and you see like the after effect, and then we got to wait. Was it 90 minutes in the film before we actually see the full shark?
And you only see him for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's only in the whole movie. He's only in it for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know it was because I genuinely didn't know up until right now was because he was broken.
Yeah.
I did not know that at all. What I want to do for just a second before I forget to do it is we need to say a huge thank you and well done for Verna Fields, who was the editor of this movie. She did a fucking fantastic job putting this shit together. She really, she did that good of a job. She won an Academy Award for it. This was this basically, I don't want to say it launched her career. It didn't by any stretch. Verna was doing very well without this, but without her skill, this movie doesn't look as good as what it would have. Really, really doesn't. So I just wanted to make a massive mention to Verna Fields. She was incredible.
One thing, again, I think it'd be a good point to talk about. Let's just celebrate the cast in this movie as well, because whenever they hit what they did, like the people they got involved, I know it would have been very different with the people who was meant to be playing the certain roles that they got, but like RichardDreyfuss is just a godsend in this movie, even though he hated being in this movie. When he's come out and said it afterwards, he thought the movie was going to be terrible till he actually watched the movie and was like, shit, this actually worked. But his as Hopper is kind of like the light energy, the kind of I don't think if they didn't have him in this movie, it would be a very dark and not as like, because there's certain actors or there's certain times where you need a little bit of light, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of to bring in and like to change the tone. And like Robert Shaw as Quint was, again, I know there was issues with him being on set at times, shall we say, but I can't see anyone else in that role as well. And even like Rob Schneider, I can't get this, I'm not going to say it properly, right? Roy Scheidner, sorry, as Martin Brody, who basically embodied that role as well. Like you felt like his every move, and like he actually felt like a family man. And I know when they were writing the script and stuff as well, like the day before, they were sitting with the actors and they were getting tit points to say what they feel like the character would say. So they had huge involvement and huge say in like how these characters went, and it's a testament to like the people involved that they got these kind of performances as well.
Well, Robert Shaw wrote he wrote the final version of the USS Indianapolis speech. It was written for him by I can't remember, there was somebody involved who had been in the Navy and had told them the story and given that he needs this back story, he needs a motive for why he hates like sharks so much. And it was so long, and then Robert Shaw said to Steven Spielberg, give me this script, like give me this speech, and I'll go away and I'll rewrite it, because he was writing plays and stuff as well. And so he wrote that, like cut it all down, and that end thing is what Robert Shaw wrote. So yeah, without him, that speech, I mean,
and it's one of the like most intense points of the whole film, because you kind of suddenly you feel like the stakes kind of just amp up. Because it's real. The impact of like the lone survivor, and also there's a touch of like the Moby Dick kind of revenge will be your downfall kind of.
He's destined to
because of that. Like,
it's his
this is how he's gonna keep doing this until he dies doing it.
one of the things
Yeah.
I've read about it this week, I don't know if it's 100% accurate. I hope it is, because if it's not, it could be just like, as I said, movie story or anything. The story of the USS Indianapolis, I can't say the word for some reason. It's a true story. To get it in the movie, they had to get it declassified because it was a class, like everything that happened on the mission was classified. It was wasn't. It's one of those stories what isn't out there or being told because the U.S. military wouldn't allow. To get it in the movie, they had to get it declassified so they would allow it to be the speech to be in. Now, I've read it somewhere. I've not heard anyone say it. So again, that could be me making shit up. But I think it'd be really interesting if it was true.
I'm willing to believe it. Let's just go with that version of the truth. I like it enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't say whether it is or not. All it says is on the Wikipedia page for the USS Indianapolis is in the scene in the 1975 movie Jaws, one of the main characters, Quint, who was a survivor of the Indianapolis, recounts the sinking and shark attacks. The scene brought Indianapolis and her sinking into a much wider public spotlight 30 years after the events occurred. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't say whether or not it was
declassified
or classified.
It is
a
true thing.
Would they tell you if it was or wasn't? I don't know. I love that scene. And Phoebe's so right. It is such a real moment where because up until that point it's felt adventurous and everyone's going to go and get a shark and yay, let's do this. And then all of a sudden the realization kicks in that shit, this is real. This is, someone's been through something just as bad, and how he delivers it is a masterclass in acting. It is perfect.
Yeah. There's also this thing in that Shaw is doing as Quint, which I find fascinating, and I think probably speaks to real life experiences of his relationship to alcohol, where you have this very jovial sing-song.
I love that scene.
Personality that then falls into this kind of like very intense kind of, the reason I drink is to escape this.
Yes.
But then when the crisis hits, it's all captain of the vessel.
Oh, he's serious.
He's so serious, and he goes from being incredibly drunk and jovial to can you put out that fire? It just very, very, and I find it. But at all times you believe he's cut the whole time. And
he's so calm, isn't he? That bit where you start hearing him like Bruce hitting against that boat, and he goes to the fire.
And you see that switch in him, and it feels very compelling to watch him change. He changes the tone and the energy of the whole scene. I love it. It's like his performance. I could watch his performance as Quint.
Do you know exactly?
Again.
It makes me want to go and watch more Robert Shaw because I want to be able to look at how he's done other things. Because if that's him, it is it was towards the end of his career, wasn't it?
He died 2 years afterwards, I think.
2 years after. Yeah. So what was he like? And he's the very, very top of it. There is one person I think cannot not go unmentioned, is the amazing mayor of this town.
What a bell end.
Murray Hamilton. Sick vandalisms. It's one of my favourite lines. This is a public disgrace. I love it.
Yeah. The worst thing about it, again, I know this was filmed, like I say, in the 70s, but this, and again, when we talk about Jaws the first time, not to get too political and stuff as well, it's so true to life, and it's so irritating that things like this would happen in real life if people think over money. The one I can say about before is during the pandemic, when we were coming out the first lockdown, when the government decided the good idea is eat out to save, to save, so they were getting people to go into restaurants and giving money off while the pandemic was still in full throw. It's have you not watched Jaws and learned lessons? There's the big shark that's not a shark this time, it's a disease. You're getting us to play with fire with that and stuff like that. It's amazing that people in power or in them type of situations still make these stupid mistakes, or and again, it's on screen, it's on cinema, that that's why it works so well, because it's so fucking true.
Yeah.
And the
Oh,
way that
100%.
the way the mayor talks the coroner into changing the coroner's decision.
What a dick.
It's one of the most chilling moments in the film, I think, because you can just see the tragedy stretch out before you right at the beginning.
Do you know what it gives?
Yeah.
It's the same. It gives me the same feelings as Poltergeist. For some reason, there's a scene where Brody is like shaking him and like because of like the realization, and he's getting him to sign to get Quentin on board and whatnot, and you just see the realization in his face. Is like, shit, what the fuck have I done? And you get that same realization in Poltergeist with the whole you move the bodies, but you move the headstones, but you never move the bodies, and that realization there. And then I only just watched The Fog not long ago, and it was the first time Jamie Lee Curtis. No, it wasn't Jamie Lee, it was the mum, Janet Leigh. Janet Leigh had such a mare moment throughout that whole thing. This ceremony was going ahead, hell or high fucking water. But when she had the facts put in front of her, she went, yeah, this is not happening. And I was like, oh my God, is that what it's like? Is that what it's like?
Yeah.
May should have learned some lessons. No, Murray Hamilton plays it absolutely perfect. I want his blazer. If anyone can find if anyone can find me that grey blazer with the white anchors on, I will pay you money. It is fantastic. The wardrobe he wears in it is so proud. And I get it. I do get the fact that, little towns like that rely on, money to come in. But you got to ask yourself, at what cost? Is it worth the people who, you want them to pay money, you don't want them to die for it.
He also has growth in character depth, the mayor. Like
it's very slow, but
it's real slow. But like that last moment where he's like, my son was on that beach too, and you see the kind of like the gravity of what he's done hit him.
He is so good in it, like so good. I just wanted to make sure we give him a mention, and obviously the sick vandalism line is one of my favorites. Sick vandalism.
I'd like to give a shout out to the people that are the lesser known people in this film, which is the Tiger Shark guy, who I absolutely love.
Oh, a what?
A what?
A what?
He's my absolute favourite. Also, the Ben Gardner character, when he's on the boat and he's got his little like black and red plaid shirt on, and he's like sailing through when they're first going out, and he's does that thing about, I can't remember what he says. He says something about these bastards, like, I don't know, their fathers met their mothers, or this is like, and apparently they just like let him speak, and he was just a resident, I think, on Master's Vineyard, so just like let him talk.
That's great.
Those
Trust me, this guy
is just my absolute favourite. And the people in the town hall as well are just like, I just find some faces in that crowd.
Do you know, there is one bit of this whole movie that makes me feel a little uncomfortable, and it is shocking given that the subject matter of the whole thing is something that I am incredibly interested in, but it's the morgue scene when they're doing the autopsy.
Oh, Hopper's reaction is brilliant.
Oh my goodness, that gives, like, for me as well, that gives me chills, like, to the point where I like.
But Sammy, you live in a morgue, don't you?
Well,
I thought that was where you thrived.
It is, but honestly, it just gives it, like, I don't know, it's that and another movie as well that I'll not say because it's something that we are going to be doing in the future, but it's when they put the stuff over, like, up there, like, near their nose, so that, like, the veil.
I know exactly what film you're talking about.
Yeah, and it just makes us feel so uncomfortable. I'm getting warm thinking about it, like, because it's not a nice feeling or a place to be in, even though I would live in there if I had the opportunity, but for some reason that one right there doesn't sit right with us. It freaks us out a bit.
Yeah, and I'm happy you've mentioned the morgue scene, because I think it's not often talked about, but the performance in there as well. Like, you've got the Martin Brody, the Roy Schneider's innocence in that, where he's just like, oh, this is what they've told us, and this is like, he's never seen a shark attack or anything, so these are the body parts that left. And it's like Richard Dreyfuss's Matt Hopper, who's it's so incredulous, infuriated, like you can see his fury, and he's just trying to keep himself together, but he's like controlled, and he's giving out, like talking through it as a scholar would, like someone in that situation, like talking about all the different like the technical terms he uses, and it's like the moments he's in there, you can tell there's no comfort for him. He's hating every second, and he's just wanting to just basically do the best job he can.
Yeah.
And you can tell how angry, but he's trying to remain professional in one of the most unprofessional places that he's probably ever been in as well.
Yeah.
And his then after that moment then is his delve to being one of the most like childish people as well, where he's making off comments saying, "Oh, they're all going off to die and stuff," like, and then he's going.
You're all gonna die.
Yeah, he's going being all petulant with the mayor, saying, "Oh, I can't deal with this. This person's being ridiculous." Even though, again, he's trying to help, but he's just because he's not getting his way. And then his interactions with on the boat is just hilarious when he's getting told to make the ship knot, and he's just like so like this is so beneath me and stuff like that, and it just grows, and from then on, like again, I know Richard Dreyfuss probably does get the plaudits he deserves, but he is magnificent in this movie. He is such a powerhouse.
He is. He's upset a few people this week, though. He had to cancel an appearance.
Oh wow!
I mean,
how old is he now?
How old is he now? I was just thinking exactly the same thing. How old is he? He's allowed.
Appearance or two.
Yeah,
but,
he's allowed.
For a minute, I was worried when you said he'd upset people. I was like, oh no, not Richard Dreyfuss too. What's...
No. He's just
keep him frozen in Jaws and Close Encounters.
Yeah. Can we
just
Stand By Me?
Oh, and Stand By Me. Yeah.
Close Encounters the third kind. Yeah, my mother would never forgive us.
Encounters.
Yeah, it's one of my mum's favourite films, so she would never forgive us if we never froze him for that one. He's 77.
Mm-hmm.
People, he let him leave him alone. He's done his time.
Cancel if he's not feeling well.
Just don't let him on social media. We don't want any more famous people on social media. That's all I'm asking. But what's probably
but I love his character in this, and I love that the expert who's been brought in to do a job that people won't let him do.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
From the moment he steps off the boat, they're like, tell those people not to go out, and he's like just instantly in chaos. This kind of like.
But do you know what I love more? What I love more than anything is how quickly him and Brody get on. Like instantly, like they're on the same page. They're quite friendly with each other. It feels like they've known each other for a long time.
And when he just like turns up for dinner,
I brought wine,
and everyone's like looking at him like,
I don't know what you've made.
It's
what I do.
Are you gonna eat that? Just take someone else's plate.
Yeah.
He's so comfortable with them. There's just there's such a kindred spirit between the two of them. If I'm just want to talk about another favorite one of my scenes before I forget it, is where Brody gives his son the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And for his birthday or something, and his mother's like, he's just sitting on the boat, like he's not in the water, and then she's looking at the shark book while she's talking, and then just screams at the kid to get out.
Did you listen to your father?
I love that scene. It's so great timing though. From it's okay, he's totally fine, and then just seeing these like horrible shark attacks, and then just no, get out.
Well, that's the thing. That was one of those scenes that. Nothing happened, but again gave me fear of the water. Like after watching that scene, I was like, I'm not going on a boat. Like you've got no chance. Like literally
if
seeing
they can get you on a boat, if the shark can get you literally on a boat,
then
and land on a boat.
Then what
and obviously, and obviously that is such a callback to later on when the shark does eventually get into the granny bit. The granny pool as they call it, and it's the boat that he goes for first and knocks. So if he doesn't do that, the kids are fucked. Like they are shark food basically. So that boat was such a saving grace. I mean, sorry for the dude who was on it who got eaten, but yeah, I love that scene. Little moments like that in this, again, comic relief. Like you do find that part really funny. I did anyway.
It's also one of the reasons why it's hard to like all of the chaos behind the camera was well documented. But it's almost hard to believe when you see like the breakdown and those callbacks happening. Because actually the final film feels so cohesive. That it's kind of it feels like it's been well visioned, but actually it's just well problem solved.
Incredible bits of like, I always think of when Brody's he's learning how to tie a knot, and it's taken him ages, and he ties that knot and he's like, I did it, and then there's that noise from the fishing rod, and you're like, it's like one kind of excitement for the way it's cut, and then when he's chumming, you know, when he like the, you know,
and the step
back into the cabin. And
one of
and it comes up and his head goes
like
that bit of it for me is just those little moments.
One of the most famous line in cinema history, and it was ad-libbed. Wasn't even in the script. We're gonna need a bigger boat. Yes. Rob Schneider, absolute genius that he is, just came up with it right off his head, and it stuck. And it is one of the most famous lines in movie history.
Talking about movie history as well, because the ending goes down in infamy as like one of the craziest scenes as well. Well, I'll come to another one. What was done by mistake, which I found out this week, which blew my mind. I'll be completely honest with, but the bit that they tried to do on MythBusters to see if the shark would blow up, the compressed air.
Right, okay.
They actually disproved that it would actually work, unfortunately.
I fucking hate MythBusters. I absolutely hate them.
Shattering dreams.
Exactly, they really do. It's like Neil deGrasse Tyson when he's like, well, BB-8, if he was a real droid, he wouldn't have been able to roll across it. Fuck off, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
BB-8 out of this.
Exactly.
Right.
Carry on taking on the flat earthers.
You go do that job. Leave the solar planet alone as well.
Leave the little round robots third piece.
Exactly. And MythBusters can get fucked as well.
Yeah, so, like, taking that out of it, how did you feel about the ending, though? Did you feel like it kind of tied everything up in a nice little bow?
I think so. I think it needed to be massive. Like it felt like it needed to be massive. And I think it's enough. There's enough throughout that, you know, compressed air. You've got the whole, you know, like Hooper says it at the beginning about like you mess around with these. So I think it's
foreshadowing all the way through.
It's enough to kind of. I think they were talking about the idea of him like chomping down on it, and then everyone was like, "That's unrealistic, so we'll shoot it instead." But for me, it's just like that bit when Brody is, you know, he's just like blow up, and you're there with him, just like just fucking blow up. And I think I think it had to be big. Other, like, you know, after everything that's happened, like
especially you've just not long lost Quint, so you kind of are a bit heartbroken over that. So you really do want this to be like a massive crescendo. But can I just ask? I only watched it a few weeks ago, and I don't know if this is being me, but does anyone else feel the ending is just slightly rushed, just a little bit? Just there's like I felt like there was a moment where we went, we're here to here. And it was so quick.
There's certain elements to it, and this is the bit I was going to come to. Did you know there was only supposed to be one survivor?
No, I didn't, but I'm so proud that you got a did you know in there.
Did you know?
I've waited a long time for you to say that. Go on, sorry.
Hooper was meant to die. And it was a freak accident with the filming, because there's only one live shark scene in the Jaws film. And it's
a real one.
A real one.
Yeah.
And it was
the cage.
It was the cage. That was filmed in Australia, and they could only find 15 to 12 foot. They needed a 25 footer for comparison. So what they did, they built the cage smaller, and this is Spielberg's words, not mine. They found a little person to go in the cage to give it because I know RichardDreyfuss isn't the biggest people, to try and make the shark look bigger. They turned away while they were still filming, and the shark attacked the cage and got on top of it, and they got all the film, and they were like, we will never get that shot again of having a shark on top of the cage and dragging it down. But the problem was there was no one in the cage. So with there being no one in the cage, they couldn't film Hooper's death. So what they did is they changed the filming and had Hooper scurry away and the shark destroy the cage and have Hooper survived. So that happy accident meant that
Hooper lived.
Hooper lives.
Hooper lived. Oh my goodness.
So I didn't feel it was rushed. I also think it had to be a big ending, because they've like Spielberg has held you in suspense this entire film.
Yeah,
you have to have a big payoff, otherwise you end up with like a kind of Cloverfield situation where the big reveal just feels actually kind of like, oh, that's not actually as bad as
I've waited this whole time for that. Yeah. No, I totally get you.
I actually preferred
maybe
like the first 90% of this film, and I kind of like the bigness and the way that the pacing, like while they're at sea, the pacing kind of goes slow, and then it starts to speed up, and
then maybe that is it. Yeah,
and then you have the kind of big Hollywood blockbuster end to a what is essentially a car chase but with a boat and a shark.
I know what you mean though. I think in terms of like, that's it, like Brady blows them up, Hooper comes back, and then they swim into shore, and then that's it. Like
I'm not saying it's disconjointed or anything like that. It's just that on last watch, I just was like, oh, I thought this went on a little longer, and maybe that's just me being like, really greedy and wanting this whole like.
Maybe you watched Jaws the Revenge. That's what you watched.
Do you know what, mate? I've never seen any of the other ones. I've only ever seen Jaws, which will not be a surprise to anyone. But yeah, I've only ever seen Jaws. I wouldn't mind watching the other ones, but what I am interested in now, and I'm going to kick myself for not doing beforehand, go and watching the documentaries that are out there on it, because I didn't realize, like, and bearing in mind, we've already done an episode on this. This is how shocking my memory is. I couldn't remember all the craziness that went on around production of it, and I always heard that Martha Vineyard had an issue, but that could have just, I could have just pulled that out of anywhere.
To be fair though, I think Martin Vineyard still live on the fact that they've got Jaws. Like, they still have T-shirts and saying Jaws was filmed here and stuff.
Yeah, I follow up a podcasting team who they went last year for a holiday, and obviously they're huge Jaws fans. I've got some fantastic photos, but I want to go for more, just to go and do the bridge jump.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to go and jump off that bridge, just to say I jumped off that bridge.
I'd love to have gone this year, like all the celebrations.
I imagine it'd be magic.
Epic. Absolute epic. And the documentary's out next week, I think.
Is it?
The National Geographic one, yeah. I think it's next week.
Oh, okay. Yes, because the person's podcast, he had something to do with it, because his collection on Jaws, he's called Jacob Walsh, and he's part of the Yes Had Some podcast team. His collection of Jaws is just, it's out of this world. He even has the barrels, like the actual barrels, real full size. I'll find one of his videos of his collection.
What a great coffee table would that be? Just like a little bit glass on top.
I just want. Do you know what his house is like a little museum. It's crazy, but he's got some like of the most rarest of rare Jaws.
Amazing.
Collectibles.
But just talking about the barrels as well, how fucking clever is this movie that whenever you see a barrel popped out of the water, you got fucking chills?
Yeah, still do.
Yeah,
still do.
I was like waiting for barrels. I was like, this is to make yellow barrels exciting. It's perfection.
And again, to not show the shark, but to create, but to see
the illusion with the barrel.
Yeah, and when the guys are like, at the beginning, when the guys are out at night and they're chucking their like Christmas ham or whatever it is, and
Jesus Christ,
he's attached to that like chain, and you can just see the dock like moving again without showing anything, but just showing that like dock moving closer and closer.
Yeah. That is just
But that's just classic movie making as well. Like, it's the bait and switch. It's like it's almost like going back to the old style of film where you see the damsel in distress tied to the railway line. You see the train coming. It's like, how will you untie her so fast? The fact that they got that in this movie is where one of the idiots gives the roast to the shark, pulls the dock away, and you see him clambering up. And it's almost like a Scooby-Doo-esque moment where these legs are going round in circles. It's like, is he going to make it? And I've seen that movie, literally, as I said, probably 100 times. And each time I get close to the TV and go, is he going to get him this time?
Is it going to change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how good this movie is. Like the elements to it, like them little aspects, is why this movie makes sense. And again, I know didn't want to do like a talk through movies, but it's hard not to. But I wanted to ask you as well. This is going to be hard for you. I know we probably already talked about the scenes, but what is your favorite scene or moment in this movie?
Oh, what if? Well, not one that I've already mentioned. Oh, I tell you what I do like is when they first introduced to Quint.
When he's on the chalkboard.
Yeah, that is a horrible, horrible noise.
And it's great that it's either he's drawn the shark with a little he's either the one that's doodled the shark with a little kid in it, or someone else has. And why would you do that in one of those town meetings?
A mother has literally just lost her child in this room, and you've dark.
And it was one of the worst drawn pictures of a shark I have ever seen.
I think for me, my absolute there's so many. Like every time I watch this film, I never get bored. Like never. There are so many scenes. I'm always like the next one. For me, I think it is when they're in the cabin, and they've done Quint's done the speech and they're singing "Show Me the Way to Go Home," and and I think it is just like that. I don't know, just that banging against the boat and hearing in the boat. I think it's just because that's what I remember from seeing it as a kid. Like I just remember that moment being so terrifying. Just there, banging on the table. But then
anyone else
do
you get a little bit teary when they're singing that song? Especially when they all get into it. I get really emotional. I'm like, oh god, and then they do the whole scar scene, showing off their scar. And who hasn't done that?
Well, that's what I love about that scene as well.
I'll raise you this one.
It's like every emotion you can think of. You get upset, you get sad, you get happy, you laugh. And it's a very lads scene. Because you
I don't mind it though.
It's kind of it's like when we used to go with the rugby lot and all the football lads, and you sit there going, "Oh, look, I've got this scarf and this tackle."
Singing sea shanties in our cabin.
Oh no!
Yeah, but it's for that one moment though. For that one moment, there's no arguing, there's no bitching, there's no talk about sharks, there's no nothing, but just them singing. And as they start to get more into it, because it's RichardDreyfuss who starts it off, to then they all
Spanish
start.
Girls.
Yeah.
Oh no, the
song.
Singing Spanish.
Yeah, and then he starts with that, and it just builds up, and then all of them are joining, and then they're all just banging on the table, and I get really fucking emotional listening to it. I don't want that minute to end, but because it reminds us of Red Dwarf.
Oh,
it's so weird. It literally takes me, because the Red Dwarf is singing that. I think it's Rimmer's Death Day.
Right.
And they're singing that song as well, and I'm like, oh, memories. But no, I do get it. It really is because of the fact that we're in such a moment of calm and chill, and they're all, for once, they're all on the same page with each other. So
feels like they've almost forgotten a little bit, what's going on. And then,
just for that second,
it comes literally knocking on the boat.
Yeah, quite literally. But the scars as well. I got this one. Well, I got this one.
This one broke my heart.
Yeah.
I think my favorite bit is where they've attached themselves to the shark.
Right.
And they're doing, and the engines are burning, and they're doing that kind of chase through the water. And then suddenly you have that they realize that they're going to have to either cut the shark loose or do something, and you have that kind of moment of trying to figure out what they could do, and then suddenly it's you have that kind of real peak moment, and Quint's trying to get they're like get over here, and he's like yeah, and he the whole time when they're in the business of it, he's so yeah okay, he's the one that they rely on. And seeing the kind of the younger men have their kind of panic as they're trying to as they're trying to catch the shark, only for them to realize they're gonna have to, if they want to keep the boat, they're gonna have to.
But there's a real scary moment after that as well that I think's done really well, because as you said, Quint's the captain, he's always in control, and you always think with him being in control. Then he has, as I said, the Ahab moment where he realizes he smashed the radio, and then he's forcing the motors past how strong they could be, because he's realizing now that he's fucked. That there's when you see him panicking and just basically losing it, you think, are they actually going to make it? That's when you start a question.
And it goes from like, and what I really love is that at the beginning of that scene, you have everyone's got a job to do, and they've all, and it's kind of the plan is in action, and it seems to be working, only for it to then twist, and they lose control, and things start to go wrong. He has that kind of like, no, we're in this now. There's no way, like
my legacy will be complete. Like it will be fulfilled.
We're committing to this, and he has like a weird line about a taxi. Like, I can't wait to show the taxidermist what we find.
He's gonna have a heart attack when he see what I've brought him.
And then in the next moment he's smashed the radio, and it's like we're basically in this to the death. He's like,
and even when he's chucking the boat.
And he goes from being like friendly, jovial captain, like ally, to actually someone who has committed them to like serious mortal danger. And I love the shift in Quint in that moment is really fascinating to watch.
It's almost demonic in a way, like especially that, like, because this is all about
it is
him.
Very Captain Ahab. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw that. I was like, oh, this is Moby Dick in action. This is revenge at all costs.
There's a scene a bit earlier as well that sent shivers down my spine, because like Martin Brody in this is shown as like the innocent. He's there as an everyday person just to like experience it, but he realizes something that's happening that the other two don't, and it scared me. And I don't know if it was saying, it's just a simple line. It's like, shouldn't we be trying to like bring the make the shark back, follow us to shore? But it seems like the shark's dragging us further and further out to sea. So it's almost like he realizes that they're falling into the shark's trap, which again I didn't realize it till I've watched it a few times, and I got it a while ago. But when I was younger, I never really kind of got that aspect to it. And so it kind of knocked us for a little bit. I was like, oh shit, the shark's a lot cleverer and like than what it gives it, what probably the people are giving it all it was meant to be for. But it's just like such a chilling, scary little thought to think, oh, the shark's playing with its food. It's like saying, come with me, come with me type thing.
I like that.
It feels like both men and shark are trying to exhaust each other until they get the upper hand.
They're both playing a game with each other. It's both a tug and war game. I actually have some alternative castings if you're interested.
Charlton Heston was one, wasn't it, for Quint?
But Spielberg said no.
Thank you, Spielberg.
For the role of Brody, it's weird because you'll never be able to not imagine anyone else playing these parts. But Brody was originally offered to Robert Duvall first. Okay, I like it. I don't think.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say Robert Redford, and I was like, I could kind of see that.
I could actually kind of see that, yes, but no. Robert Duvall for Brody, yes. Charlton Heston expressed a desire to Spielberg, but Spielberg was like, no. No, thank you. And there was also Lee Marvin and Sterling Hayden were offered the roles of Quint, and they passed it up. Spielberg really wanted for Hopper John Voight. Timothy Bottoms, Jean Michael Vincent, Joel Grey, and Jeff Bridges. But it was George Lucas who said, I've just done American Graffiti, and Richard Dreyfuss is perfect for this role. And, you know, them two being the bestest buddies that they were, they went down the role with Richard Dreyfuss.
Who turned it down 2 times before he actually took the role.
Jeff Bridges is way too cool for that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the dude?
He'd just be like, nah.
You wouldn't give a shit.
Him being like, neurotic enough.
Wouldn't give a shit. Did any of you have you been to Florida and gone on the ride?
No.
Oh.
I would love to. I've got my Universal Studios cup though.
That's so cool. I love that. Oh, I've been on it so many times. I didn't appreciate, like I said earlier, I didn't appreciate the first time I went on it. It was just what it was. it's more around the area. So like until I saw the film and then I started to piece it all together, that area where Jaws is Martha's Vineyard. It's all set out to look like Martha's Vineyard. And I'm like, and then obviously you've got the big giant shark that you never your photograph taken. But the ride itself, the smells is unreal. When you because you have
flames. It's flesh.
It's flesh. It is pure flesh. It absolutely stinks when they do when they have the big like blowout moment at the end and you kill the shark and you've saved the day. Yeah, it absolutely stinks. But it was such a fantastic ride. Such a shame that it's got why it went. I'll never understand why Universal thought that was a good idea to get rid of.
They replaced it with Harry Potter, didn't they?
I can think of why they might have thought that was a good idea.
Yeah. Shame though.
Yeah, it is a shame.
It's one of those because I know apparently the like Universal's getting built down London is one of the ones I hope they do bring back. But from talking to like people like when I was there in Florida, it's just about licensing. It's where they can get the licensing for the rides and stuff. It only lasts for so long.
The Back to the Future one needed to go. Oh my god! By the end,
it didn't even look.
No, it was so good. When I went on it,
coming for the Lost Boys, now Back to the Future.
It was the ride itself. It was so decrepit.
Nerdy down south. It's got a good ring to it.
Oh, shut up! What I was saying is that it was it was dishevelled. They weren't looking after it, so they weren't. It was literally when you go in, you do feel like you're sitting in a DeLorean unless you literally lean just a little bit further forward and you could see everybody because the whole thing was just, it was tattered, it was torn, there was no love in there anymore. So I can so understand it. It was such a good ride though. Really good.
The only thing, because like I say with Florida, very different to the UK and other places, health and safety wasn't one of their strong points. So as Sammy said, when the shark was blown up, the flames got to the point where it could singe hairs and stuff like that. So
it was high.
It was an interesting take, but yeah,
people coming out without their eyelashes.
Why do you think I didn't have eyebrows for a very long time?
It was interesting.
I lost them in Jaws.
But it's interesting though, Holly pointed out, because the merchandise that has came from Jaws, like say, it's got one of the most iconic posters, like the T-shirt range was out there. I know for the 50th year anniversary now, which we are celebrating, like the things that you can go out and buy for Jaws now, like I'll show a few things that I've just been buying, like the Funko Pops, like
that is so cool.
The big one that's in, if you go to Universal Studios now, is the cup. It's like a Jaws cup that you buy for $15.
Yeah, it's got like the oxygen thing.
It's got the oxygen tank, but it's about $60 to buy if you buy it on eBay and stuff like that. So it's not going to go in my collection anytime soon, unless I know anyone that's going to go to Florida now.
So what was it? Just is it a mug?
It's just like, you know, the cups you get where you get like, it's not a mug, it's like refillable,
like a Stanley cup,
a refillable kind of, yeah. But they do like themed ones every so often, but everyone's going crazy for the Jaws one because it just looks hilarious. I'll put a picture in the Discord and stuff when we've done.
Yeah, would you? I'm just because these ones like looks like I could make them, so I'm guessing that's not the ones that we're looking at.
But the thing is though with Jaws, it's 50 years old now. It doesn't feel like a 50-year-old film. I still think in 100 years we'll be still talking about Jaws at the same level and same intensity. I know the sequels have a wide variety of success, shall we say, and even had the piss take out of it from time to time. Like if you watch Back to the Future 2, they have the hologram where Jaws 16 comes out and gets you and stuff like that, which is just hilarious. I think, again, just to, I know I'll ask you if there's anything else you just want to talk about, just to wrap up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that was lightning in the bottle. It probably, if it filmed it the way they wanted to, we wouldn't have got the movie we got. It was a happy accident.
That's shocking to me.
It's a happy accident to a degree. And as you mentioned before, a godsend with editing and a godsend with the right people involved who were willing to basically go out on the limb. And I know we talk about cinema releases now. When a movie comes out, it's probably 4 weeks. Then it's starting to come on digital download, and then you can buy it, rent. This movie was on the cinemas for a full year after its release.
What?
It was released in July. People in December and January were still going to see this movie at the cinema.
Now. Imagine if that happened now.
Mm-hmm.
How angry people would be. Because come watch it at home.
Yeah.
They'd be fucking raging.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I've just seen the cut, by the way. That looks absolutely class. I'd pay money for that. It looks so good. Yeah. I'd pay money for that.
People were actually paying just to go into the parks just to get the mug, then walking out of the parks.
Yeah.
Oh, I would totally do that. That would totally be me.
Oh, 100%. If Florida's on my doorstep, I'm like, yeah, I'm just popping to Universal, just gonna go and pick a cup up.
A whole suitcase for the Jaws at 50 store or whatever they've got.
Oh yeah, just imagine the Universal staff. What are you doing with that? What do you think?
I'm not gonna pick up the whole thing, but this is me pride of place. I do have the Lego set as well.
Oh, I've got that as well.
That's so cool.
And
honestly, the merch this not just now, it's been like the last few years. I have an awesome t-shirt that I generally just cannot find, but it's probably one of the nicest printed Jaws on a t-shirt, because it feels like it's not like a transfer. Like this like the one I'm wearing now feels like a transfer. This is just oh, I love it. I wish I could find it actually. But it would be nice.
So it's again, I know I've talked a lot, so again I do apologize. Anything that you guys want to mention or say about, or things we haven't talked about that you really want to get out of the way?
I think he's aiming that at you too.
Go on, Holly. You look like you're about to say something.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think so. I think I mean, it's it's nice to be asked to come on and chat about a film that has just been such a massive part of my life. I mean, my friends and family, pretty much every single person I know, I've made to see it at some point. And if I don't quote the whole thing throughout, they're lucky, and it gets switched off in 5 minutes of my start. So it's such a funny thing when the film is such a massive part of your life. But I think we've kind of talked quite a lot about it, favorite bits, and it's really nice to just chat about something that, like you said, it's 50 years old, which is mad. And I don't think you could even do now the things that they try to do, mechanical shark in water. Even now I think you struggle. I think Steven Spielberg was talking about it in Sight and Sound. And in another 50 years, hopefully, I'll still be alive, hopefully.
Will I be alive?
Talking about it when I'm 92.
I'll not be doing a fucking podcast then, I'll tell you that.
I bet we are. No, I understand it when it comes to I have that film in my life where I have not only my whole family have watched it, they now will no longer watch it with me because I can quote it from start to finish. So I understand that very well.
Yeah.
And it's Spice World, right, Sammy?
Of course.
Got to spice up your life.
Spice up your life. I want the pictures to see that. It's the one movie in my entire life my dad stayed awake for from start to finish.
It's the only film I still have on VHS in the limited edition tin.
Fuck yeah!
And I actually
Spice up your life.
Film.
Amazing.
No, I think I just wanted to give a shout out to people in the chat. So, in particular, PMC's Midnight Movies. So, 1975 Best Picture winner was actually One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Hardly ever mentioned today, but everyone talked about Jaws. And I think that is the thing. It's sometimes films I'm not quite sure how well this did at box office when it was first released. If it was on for a year, it probably did quite well.
Oh yeah, they were grabbing them numbers in.
It broke records at the time, I think.
Steven Spielberg's career.
It was the biggest selling film.
Nobody at the time is appreciating the work that's gone into it. When One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest it's so different in comparison, because that's acting 101 is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That is some of the biggest names in acting who are just getting to talk with each other. And the story of it, I understand what he means, that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest doesn't get a lot of recognition, but it's completely different to what the Academy would have been looking at. If it was going to be looking at everything that went on, then maybe it would have been different for the Academy. But with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there's performances of like a lifetime in there.
Yeah, and I think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a worthy winner.
Yeah.
What I think we see with Jaws is a film that, like you say, it feels very timeless. It doesn't actually age in the same way. And for some films, you have a film that, like, no matter when you go back to watch it, it's always better than you remember it.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jaws is like better than when I watched it as a kid, obviously, because I couldn't remember half of it.
Brilliant. No, I love that
5
though.
or whatever I was.
Yeah,
but coming back to it now and being like, just like so absorbed for the whole thing, and already feeling like I could do another watch tomorrow.
Yeah, isn't it crazy how you could literally end that movie and just without even a second thought,
happily
go straight back to the go straight back to the beginning.
And it's one of those things that it arrows in on like your fear as well, because even now, after watching the movie, I would be hesitant to go back in the sea. And even though
I would never go in the sea.
Yeah,
I didn't need Jaws to tell us that.
But being from the northeast as well, like say we've got beaches, like on beaches type thing. But it's crazy
they can stay over there.
It's crazy how much it zones in on that fear. And I think again, if you look back at Spielberg through his career, he is masterful when it comes to storytelling. Like, he doesn't really pick a genre or stick with a genre. It's just telling a story, and he does it so well. And I'm glad he got to make probably not the movie that he initially intended, but
the one we
got was.
Sometimes the solution to the problem gives you a better outcome than what you originally hoped for, and I think Jaws is the example of that.
End it there.
Yeah.
End it right there.
Writeable. That's a short.
I give it enough time. There's enough time between me saying that and you ending your sentence. That was perfect. No, that was absolutely perfect. I can't even add. There was one thing I wanted to add to it, and I'm just going to leave it.
Just going to leave it
because that was brilliant.
Yes.
Sorry, I wish everyone could see what my cat was doing right now.
We just saw it jump, so it's fine.
We can see him. Oh, he's on the back of the chair.
He's on the back of the chair, but he hasn't got himself fully on the chair, so he's just like
the floor is ocean.
He's staying away from the shark.
The floor is lava.
Yeah. So, Sammy, what have you got planned for tomorrow?
Ooh, tomorrow on the Monsters of North podcast. Have you heard the soundbite Summerween? Summer what? Summerween. It's where we get to celebrate Halloween twice. Well, I'm fucking sick of hearing it. So I did decide to take part of it and use it for the entire month of July. And we are having our very own Slasherween. So we are celebrating nothing but slasher movies. It does coincide with the fact that we are supporting Slay, which is an independent horror movie done by Keira Gardner and Jimmy Simpson. And please, the Kickstarter is still ongoing. We've got one more week left.
I think it's nearly at 100,000. I think I saw a post.
Yes, she had not long much more to go off it, but yes, they've literally got a week to go. And the packages that she is offering is absolutely mind-melting. There was one which was the Always Sunny package, and Dan was devastated because it was for only US people only. But yes, we are celebrating for the entire month of July slasher movies. What we are doing is so we both get to pick two movies each for the month, but we don't know which one's picked until we do the recording, and then that person gets full, complete control of the episode. So you will have a whole episode of just Dan. And that is what you are getting tomorrow when we do the final, girls, because Dan got the first pick. And so that will be available tomorrow from 8 o'clock on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel. And then later on, if you want to listen to it, you need to search Monsters Up North from anywhere. Monsters Up North podcast. Do not search Monsters Up North. Completely different thing.
Yeah, it's a band, isn't it?
It's a band.
Yeah.
Completely. Monsters Up North.
I didn't come up with a name well for that one. Sorry.
I love the name. I'll fight them for it. Because got more listener reviews in there. Who said that? Yeah, the Monsters Up North podcast. From anywhere you get your podcast from, you will find us.
Yeah, we're busy moving over the audio to a new new hosting as well, so hopefully that goes through smoothly this week and we don't lose anything.
Please don't lose my episodes.
No, I'm leaving the big toot and nest, so don't worry.
Yay!
What about you, Phoebe? What have you got planned this week?
So I've been invited back to Top Grumps, the bad boys of None riding again.
Do you know what I can see happening in the next few months? You're just going to be a permanent member of Top Grumps, aren't you?
Don't say that to Lee. He'll be so angry.
Oh my God, imagine just like all of a
He
sudden.
already accuses me of being like a podcast mistress, having taken Chris away from him for Anime Club. So we're doing like a film, a terrible film. I think I can safely say one of the worst films I've ever seen. Based on a very old, very vintage anime called Fist of the North Star, and this is the live action film for it, which has a better cast than it deserves to have. Dante Bisco's in it, Malcolm McDowell's in it.
What?
And yet it's truly trash. It's so
I told
bad.
Anthea's were watching it last night on Discord, and he went,
Oh,
why?
It's available for free on YouTube, and you can see why. Like, no one cares about the rights for this film, so you can go and watch it before you come and watch us talk about it on Top Grumps. Yeah, Chris has just gone, no girls allowed.
Why you want it then, Chris?
Yeah. And then on Friday we've got a very special guest, the lovely Sarah from the Women of Nerd Culture is coming on and we're doing a film, one of my favorite films. So a few weeks ago for Pride we did Tokyo Godfathers, which is an anime film about 3 homeless people who find a baby in Tokyo and go on a journey to try and reunite the baby with its mother. And then one of the director, Kon, who one of his last films was Paprika, which is a film, it's kind of like where the idea for Inception came from. It's a film about a dream detective, really surreal, really trippy, colourful, beautiful, like feast for the senses. But yeah, that should be fun. For Friday, we're going back live, having had some time out for SunnyCon.
Very cool.
So that should be good.
Yes.
Nice.
And if you're talking about SunnyCon, Chris has been doing some little vlogs and stuff of his adventures, which is adorable. We're back
on the Instagram.
Yeah, we're back next Sunday. We won't be live because it's Sammy's birthday. She's turning 51, bless her.
You are older than me.
That doesn't say much, love. That's fine.
Revenge for comments about the Lost Boys, Sammy.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
So, as a one-off, we're doing a little bit of a special one for Sammy. We're going to go to The Silence of the Lambs. So we will be talking about Clarice and a favourite subject.
The lotion on its skin.
Or let's it gets the hose again.
Talk about Sammy's favourite subject, which is cannibalism, which is great.
What a great way to celebrate my birthday.
Yeah. So we'll be back.
I knew you were talking about that film as well. When you said about the stuff on the nose.
I didn't want to quite say it just yet, but I'm glad you were with us on that one.
So again, I know Holly, as I said, you're not on a podcast or doing a podcast, but if you've got anything you want to promote or tell us about, this is your little moment.
I have nothing to promote whatsoever. Just I'm glad that you invited me on, and I've got my Jaws t-shirt on and my Jaws cup and the Jaws thing surrounding me. So it was been a pleasure to have a chat with you guys.
It's great. And if you want to follow Holly, she's on Instagram as well. It's called Bigger Boat Haul, and she posts like loads of interesting stuff. I know I felt like a bit of a stalker because I was all excited because you were posting about your Jaws shoes the other day. I was like, that them are amazing. But yeah, like, and as I said, Holly is, like I say, a really like a nice, I don't know how to put it. Like I say, she came to us with like I say, and asked us to do a little promotion thing, which we did, and again, I think it went well. Not to sin.
I hope you liked it.
But yeah, so as with anything we do get from, like, as a Nerdy Up North, if people support us, we will try and do everything we can to support them, like through the community or like anything we can do. And hopefully as well, like I say, we've given Holly a taste for it. So if in the future, if Holly wants to join us again and come back on, like, feel free to send us a quick message, or even I might even reach out and say, do you fancy stuff as well? And feel free to tell us to fuck off if you want to as well. That's fine. But yes,
that's what we say to each other sometimes.
It's just love. Just said for love.
Just means we like you, really.
Exactly.
Through northern.
If we're not telling you to fuck off, there's something wrong.
Yeah. But yes, follow us on, like I say, on our YouTube channel. Just to announce as well, again, which blew my mind, we've hit over 4,000 subscribers this
Sorry,
last week.
Just get me cash.
I know I set myself a target of getting to 5,000 by the end of the year, so
Let's do
hopefully,
this.
touch wood, we can get there. Like, follow us on Instagram, join us on the Facebook group, on our Discord. You will meet some of the friendliest and weirdest nerds ever. Yeah, I'll let you guess which ones are the which. But yeah, so
That way, she's that way.
yeah.
Not that way, that way.
I'm the weird one.
Actually, you're the most normal one, so that's saying something.
That's
alarming, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Oh yes, and again, like I say, all the audio goes up anywhere you find your podcast. Hopefully, when everything goes through smoothly with the transition.
But remember, if you're looking for an individual one, you need to search that individual one. They are not just Nerdy Up North.
You can
all have their own.
You can on Apple now because we got it in grouped.
Oh, that's right. You can on Apple, so that's fine. But anywhere else, you need to just search.
We're learning as we go. 4 years down the line, we're still
we'll
learning.
get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, but yeah. So same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.